let's talk about abundance. I have a little story to share with you, and then at the end, a little challenge for you to help you unleash your own abundance. So if you're up for having more of everything that you want in your life, totally would listen to this little story and the challenge at the end. So recently I've been doing a lot of studying around abundance and taking a look at what is it that we do that gets in our way of abundance, and what can we do to help ourselves open ourselves to receive more. And one of the most frequent things that I see, and I myself am guilty of this as well, is I feel like we could all do a better job of asking for what we want and being very specific and being very curious and observing ourselves when we are in the process of asking for what we want, because then we actually get to see where the resistance is and what's uncomfortable. So I am a huge believer in lead it, be it. So be your own guinea pig before you share it with your tribe. And so I was like, how could I do something that would be a bit of a stretch that would allow me to ask for what I want and get to be a curiously observing the resistance that comes up as I ask for what I want, and also asking for something that I felt like was going to be uncomfortable to ask for, and something that when I got that thing, it would actually blow my own mind. Because there's something really magical about blowing your own mind that gives you just like, hello, this universe is magic. So I'm always out to blow my own mind. I can't control blowing anyone else's, but I can totally control blowing my own. So what I did is I landed in my mind, I decided that I was gonna ask for there was this really dope, awesome, beautiful mala necklace that I had been having my eyes on, and it was like spiritual stone and rose gold, and it was just it just tickled my fancy, and it was not cheap, and it was something I could easily buy for myself, and yet I knew that my pattern is I have an avatar who I call like the do-it-all girl, and so I tend to do things myself, which is great. I can totally do for me. I can give abundance to myself. I can create abundance. One of the things is that unleashing our abundance portals even more is learning to receive abundance from other sources than just yourself. So it's creating your own and receiving. So what I did is I decided, I concocted this whole, I had an intuitive download about how to do this whole piece on Facebook and how to actually use this as something that I promised that if I was able to manifest it, I was going to, whether I was or wasn't able to manifest it, I was going to share the story with you. And the hope was to really learn how to create abundance for you and for myself, right? Okay, so what I ended up doing was I decided that I was going to post a picture of the necklace on Facebook, and I was just gonna curiously observe what was coming up for me. So I remember sitting down at the computer and I was like, okay, I've got a picture of this necklace. And I was like, well, hold on a second. This is the dialogue that goes on in my head, the conversation. I'm like, if you want to open yourself to receive, you have to be very specific. So I pulled the link instead of just the picture. I pulled the link so that whoever wanted to get this for me, they would know exactly what link to go to, and I'm doing the work for them. And then I was like, what other information would they need? And I was like, well, they would need to know my mailing address. So I was like, cool, I have a PO box. I'll put that up on there. So I don't have to put my home address on blast, but here's my PO box. And then I was like, what other information would they need, right? Like you can't just put a link and, you know, a mailing address without some sort of context. So I sat down to write it, and I was like, so anyone who wanted to be generous and give me this, it's amazing. I would love it. I would accept it, you know, with just complete love and abundance and grace. And then I noticed that I started putting emojis that were like the laughing so hard they're crying. And I was like, oh, what's that all about? Like curiously observing, no judgment, just curiously observing. I'm like, what's that all about? Right? Because the thing is it wasn't a joke. Yet what I realized with my own default mechanisms and autopilots and subconscious patterns are that when I'm asking for something, it's often really uncomfortable. And so I might play it off like it's a joke. And I was like, but this isn't a joke, you know? And part of abundance is like part of creating abundance is being really authentic and being very specific and giving all of the details to your spirit team or the world or the universe, or, you know, in your prayers, call it whatever you want, being as specific as possible, or even with your loved ones around you, being as specific as possible with what it is that you want, how they can get it to you, give it to you, etc. And being very clear energetically aligned with that desire, that it's not a joke. Making it like a joke or sarcasm actually cancels out some of your abundance, which is crazy because I grew up in a house like so much sarcasm, right? So that was one of my defense mechanisms for protection, in case, you know, and I started noticing like the reason that I was being sarcastic or putting this laughter emoji was because I was like, so much shame was coming up. Like, who am I to ask for this? Like, why would who does she think she is? And, you know, just all of this fear around what other people would think about me asking for what I wanted, which, hello, how we do one thing is how we do everything. So it was really, really interesting to just observe myself and be like, damn, I am blocking my abundance. And so I was like, I'm gonna get this right. So, and not right or wrong, but like clean it up, right? So I'm going to make this in this beautiful sacred cocoon of what the intention, to allow the message to be aligned with the intention of the energy. And the energy was genuine. I genuinely wanted this mala. I genuinely loved it. It would genuinely be like so incredibly appreciative of it, and my mind would be blown to receive it, and it would just like tickle my fancy and just like delight me to receive it. So I was like, okay, then it's important that the message and the wording and the emojis align. And so I deleted anything that made it seem that it was a joke, and I put it on there, right? So I just said what I said, and I had like unicorns and sparkles, and basically was just like, I would genuinely love this, and I would be so open to receiving this, and I love you, thank you, right? You know, to the universe, to my people, to my tribe. And then every day I had it up on my computer, and I would just like look at it, and I would envision like, oh my God, this is gonna be so cool. I'm gonna blow my mind. Someone's gonna get this for me, and it's gonna blow my mind because it's gonna change the context of which I look at asking for what you want. Like, oh, ask for what you want, receive. Ask for what you want, receive. And others can be source of abundance for you as well. And like, awesome that you're a great source of abundance for yourself, and let's let some other people create some abundance for you as well. And I'm always such a giver, right? Like, I give like so much of my heart, my soul, my darkness, my light. Like, I share everything with the world, and so why not open the channels to receive that in return and give the gift to other people that I give to them? Like, allow others to give to me, and so graciously receive and let people know with specificity what you want. Okay, so I would vision this every day, and then I remember like a week went by, and I started doubting, you know, and this is really common. So again, how we do one thing is how we do everything. And I started doubting, and I was like, it's okay, like this voice I heard in my head that was like, it's okay, I'll buy it for you. AKA, I'll do it myself. My do-it-yourself girl. I have this avatar, your do-it-yourself avatar, right? So, hello, how I do one thing is how I do everything. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So it's like this exercise that gives you like this ability to observe yourself just very curiously, no judgment. And I'm like, oh my goodness, right? Like, I have a tendency to then, maybe that means ask for something once, and then if it's not given, I'll do it myself. How fair do you think that is to a world of shiny objects and short attention spans and multitasking? Like, how fair is that to a loved one who maybe did want to get that for you, but they forgot? Or how fair is it, like, maybe no one saw it on Facebook. Maybe you need to post it again. Maybe you need to ask again. Maybe you need to pick someone specific and say, hey, I would love this. Would you, if you want to buy me a gift, get it for me, right? Maybe I could tell my man. So there are all these different things that I started realizing, like, we often ask for something. So if we get the courage to ask for something, we may mask it in sarcasm, which cancels it or confuses people. And then we're like, oh, they're not listening, when really it's like, hold on, you weren't specific. Like, you didn't you didn't own your energy. You didn't align your energy. And this other piece around like being specific. So, I actually found out later that the company, and I thought I had done my due diligence. I went online and like typed in my PO box to make sure that this company with this mala necklace, that they would receive, that they would ship to PO boxes. And I found out a week later, I actually went on the site and looked, and I was like, oh shit, they don't. Like I saw it on the bottom. So, so I was blocking myself from abundance without even realizing it, because there was because they didn't ship to PO boxes, right? So, I mean, there's just so many things that could happen. So one, your energy needs to be aligned in that vibration, like your actions, your words, your energy, like all of it needs to be cleaned up and aligned, and all aligned in the same frequency of opening yourself to receive and to graciously, lovingly receive. And you need to do it with specificity, right? And sometimes you need to ask for it more than once. So what was like so hella dope was the fact that I ended up, right as like my do it all, do it yourself girl avatar started really flaring up, and then I was like, no, I hear you, but like, let's just, you know, maybe there's another way to ask. So I'm gonna have to retrain myself on really opening myself even more and more and more to receive from the world and the gifts the world wants to give to me. And I shit you not, like 5 minutes after I had this conversation with myself, one of my soul sisters texted me and was like, hey, by the way, I've been meaning to ask you, did anyone get you that mala necklace? Because I wanted to get it for you. I just want to make sure that you didn't already receive it. And I'm like, you know, mind blown. And it actually came in the mail today. What? Oh my God, it's amazing. So what, right? Like, so it was enough. It was also something that was enough of an ask that it made me uncomfortable. So this is what I would challenge for you, is I would totally challenge you to do something like this in your own life. Think about what is something that you are, what is something that you could ask for that would give you enough of an uncomfortable stretch that you could observe yourself through the process to see what your own reactions typically are and responses are to asking for what you want. And are you being specific, and are you being sarcastic, and are you aligning your actions and words and desires all in this beautiful sacred space, or is there some confusion in there that you have to clean up? And are you asking again? And right, and so just, it's like this really cool thing that gives you an ability to see what's going on in the subconscious of your mind, in the basement of your mind, and pulling it up to the first floor so you can play with it. And what's really cool was it wasn't really this exercise wasn't even really about receiving the necklace or not, you know. It was just about like really being able to see is how might I be getting in my own way of creating abundance. And so you bet your ass now I'm like totally on my sarcasm, you know, like I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, you know, don't let that get in the way of my abundance. Like ask for what I want, and ask very lovingly and very kind, and align it with what I desire. And sometimes I'm gonna have to ask for what I want more than once, and you know, and so it's like I have all of these new pieces that I get to play with around awareness. And genuinely through awareness that all of abundance comes through awareness. And so that's just an exercise in your own awareness of how you can create more abundance in your own life. And so I challenge you, yeah, pick something that feels like a stretch, ask for it, proclaim it to the world, and just observe and watch. And yeah, I'm excited, and let me know what it is that you did and what happened, and you know, and I'm so excited for you to create some more abundance in your life. And woo, yeah, it's crazy. Just, it's like you ask for what you want and you get it. It's kind of easy. Like, yeah, it's crazy. It's easy. It's awesome. So happy abundance making to you, and I love you. Thank you. Bye.